a nice rig, but you may not always get a model in a perfect T-pose to ease the process. Or you might be working on a complex rig like a robot with various joints with tons of different orientations. I'm Pierre from P2 Design, and here are some bones manipulation tips and tricks to build the perfect armatures. Here's the first example to illustrate the problem. You will generally rely on the topology to position the bone, so I like to enable the wireframe when I'm rigging. While this character is nice because I made it, so it's nice, his relaxed pose is not ideal to rig. For example, the feet are not aligned with wall space, and if I want to create a foot roll mechanism, it's gonna be hard for me to define a nice bone roll on which my rotations will depend. To better illustrate the problem and the solutions, I will use this little robot arm from a project I'm working on. While it looks nice, it's not T-posed, the fingers are not aligned, and the joint that serves as an elbow doesn't point in the y direction. It's not aligned with wall space. So let's see how we can get perfect bone positioning and orientation on this arm. When you create a new rig, it's better to have both your mesh and your armature centered in wall space. Since whatever you add in Blender will be added on the 3D cursor, you can center the 3D cursor pressing Shift-C. From there you can add a bone that will be your root bone. The first important thing when rigging is to use the correct transform pivot point, and the most useful is the individual origin. With this pivot point, when you edit a bone, it will rotate around its head, and this is the actual pivot point of a bone. When I'm rigging, I generally set my bone viewport display in front and I switch their shading to wire. As said before, you should rely on the topology of your character or model to place your bones. Here I want to place the arm bone, the root of the arm that should be the connection between the shoulder and the arm. The method is pretty simple. You place the 3D cursor where you want to add the bone and from where the bone should be rotating. In the case of that model, that could be tempting to use those two opposite vertices on each side, but this is not a perfect sphere, so the 3D cursor won't be centered on that sphere. So in this specific case, it will be better to use this loop that goes around the mesh. Then I can press Shift-S to snap the cursor, and then you can go back into edit mode onto your armature and add a new bone. So in this case, I'm relying on a hard surface mesh to snap my cursor. This way I'm sure that my bones are perfectly positioned. For the next joint, the elbow, the base mesh is a cylinder, so I can snap the cursor to the middle of the cylinder by selecting its pole and snapping the 3D cursor to it, then go back in edit mode onto my armature and snap the tail of the bone onto the 3D cursor. And then I can extrude another bone that will be the forearm and snap it to the wrist geometry. So you get the idea when it comes to hard surface modeling, just rely on the model to perfectly position your bones. When you are rigging organic character, you can rely on the topology too. Most of the time you will find accurate landmarks, but you're free to tweak the positioning of the bones after the skinning. So basically your workflow should be to position the bones, then weight paint your character, and then slightly tweak bone positioning if you feel like an elbow is too high or too low, for example. When you're posing your character, you generally want to use the local transform orientation, the one from the bone. We know that the positioning of the elbow is perfect, so let's rotate it around the x-axis. It feels pretty nice, but if we take a closer look to it in front view, for example, we are rotating from the right position, but we are not correctly following the orientation of the elbow. And when I switch to X-ray, we can see the elbow shifting left to right, instead of perfectly rotating around the cylinder. And the problem here is not the bone positioning, but the bone roll. Here I have two bones with the same orientation. The orientation is the direction they're pointing in, but the bones don't have the same roll. The roll is the rotation around the y-axis. You can call it twisting if you want, and you can check the roll value in edit mode. If I switch to pose mode and I rotate those two bones around the x-axis, the first bone that was aligned with wall space and with a bone roll of 0 has nice and predictable rotations value. And while the second bone seems to have the same orientation, its rotation value are all around. And it's going to be a pain for the animator to work with that. What rotation axis should I use to rotate my elbow, for example? Luckily, we can edit the bone roll in edit mode. You can play with the transform value directly in the item panel, or you can press Ctrl R to edit the bone roll in the 3D viewport. The bone roll can be also automatically recalculated. You can press Shift-N and choose between different options. The positive and negative option does a perfect job when your bones are aligned with wall space. Or if you already have a bone with a perfect roll, what you can do is use it as being the reference bone. But what to do when our bones don't fit any of those cases, like on this arm, for example? Well, you generally know that you want your axis to point toward the elbow, for example, or perpendicular to the elbow. So in that case, our bone is aligned with those two opposite poles, and it should be rotating around this axis. Now, to get the perfect roll on this one, I will snap the 3D cursor to one of the poles, then I will exit edit mode, select my bones, enter edit mode, let me completely mess up the roll pressing Ctrl R and doing it manually, and I will then press Shift-N to recalculate the roll and choose 3D cursor. Now look how the local Z-axis of my bone will point toward the 3D cursor. And if I now switch to pose mode, rotate the forearm bone along its Z-local axis, I get a perfect rotation. With this method, whenever you have a single axis rotation, you are 100% sure that you will have the perfect bone roll. And animators will thank you for that. Now if you're working on an organic character, instead of trying to find the axis around which you will be rotating, you may want to use the elbow or the knee, for example. In this case, I can use this edge that crossed the middle of the elbow, snap the cursor to it, then select my forearm bone, recalculate the roll, choosing the 3D cursor. And now, if I rotate the elbow around the x-axis, it's going to be perfect. But when you're rigging a chain, it's better to use the Z-axis as the rotation axis. So I can press Ctrl R again and enter 90 degrees or minus 90 degrees so that my X-axis points forward. Now you may ask why I prefer to rotate around the Z-axis. Well, because in the case of an inverse kinematics chain, if you're using a pole target, the root of the chain will use its local X-axis to point at the pole target. And I won't have any offset when I assign the pole target, because my bone roll, or my X-axis of the chain, was pointing at the pole target. If I change the bone roll, you can see that now we have an offset, and we have to tweak that and fix it using the pole angle. That's not a big deal, but it's not ideal. So it's not mandatory, but that's good practice. And also, by default, the Euler rotation order is using the Z-axis as the master rotation axis, the first axis to be evaluated in the XYZ Euler rotation. And this leads us to our last point. Whenever you want to manipulate bones in edit mode to move them, let's say I want to create a pole target. If I use local as the transform orientation, it's not the local axis of the bone, it's the local axis of the armature. If I want to move this bone along its X-axis in edit mode, I need to switch to normal. And now I can move it along its local X-axis. I can offset it along its local Y-axis so that it stays in its local X-axis plane. And if I quickly set up an inverse kinematic constraint and I use this as a pole target, I won't have any twisting in the inverse kinematic chain. I won't have to tweak the pole angle value. And if I lock the X and Y rotation axis on the forearm, I will get a perfect elbow behavior. And my mechanical joint or organic joint will always be perfectly aligned. This is the end of this video. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one.
This video
What's up, Sababatso? How's it going, man?
is about the fingers in Rigify. If you don't understand how they work, you may end up with fingers that bend the wrong way. If I zoom in on the hands here, the Rigify finger has this special widget which allows you to bend the finger by scaling it down. So this is what you should expect when you scale down this widget. However, you may get results like this. For example, here, scaling down actually bends the finger in the opposite direction. This one kind of bends it sideways. It's even more pronounced in this finger. And this
Not an issue exactly. Just preparing to rig the Spider-Man character.
problem originates in the meta rig. So I'm going to show you exactly how you need to align the finger bones so that they generate correctly and they bend exactly as you expect them to bend. So here I'm going to start with this scene where I have a simple model that is kind of shaped like a finger. And I'm going to create a new single bone. And then in edit mode, from the side view, I'm going to select this bone and switch pivot point to individual origins and then rotate it 90 degrees. Turn on in front. And I'll make this bone exactly as long as the finger model. It is sitting there completely straight, which is not what you'll get in most practical scenarios. Okay, this is the first example. I have already aligned the meta rig bones to my character, and if you need help with that, watch the full playlist. Okay, the model is in A pose, and what is more important, if I zoom on the fingers, and I'm going to hide the meta rig for a second, you'll see that the fingers have a slight natural bend in the model itself. So now if I unhide my meta rig, if you're more experienced with Rigify, you may notice the problem right away. Some of the finger bones look a little bit wobbly, and this is the example that I showed you at the very beginning of the video. So let's generate this quickly. Parent with automatic weights.
I'm gonna be using
In here,
Rigify.
this finger bends correctly, but this one is a little bit wobbly, and this is the example that I showed you at the very beginning of the video. So let's generate this quickly. Parent with automatic weights. In here, this finger bends correctly, but this one is incorrect, and this one bends sideways. So let's undo and look at the meta rig bones. It was the middle finger and the pinky that were really not bending correctly. So if I go to edit mode, select the bones, and press Shift H to isolate them, I can get a good look at them. So from the front view, you'll see that the middle finger is really bending like this. And of course, that means that Rigify will generate it bending the wrong way. And this finger is kind of in a zigzag pattern, which is really not good. You want the bones to be completely straight when looking at the top of the finger. So my personal favorite way to align fingers, and other bones actually, is to switch to volume snapping. And these are the default settings, and that will work well in general. But because this model that I'm using contains overlapping geometry, I'm going to also enable snap peel objects. So with this setup, I can grab any of these joints, press G to move it, and then press Ctrl, and it will snap within the volume of the geometry under my cursor. So I'm going to do this here as well, and here, and one more time for the tip of the finger. So now if I look from this view, the finger is a little bit zigzaggy, so I can move it manually. And also something else that you could do is select all of these fingers, bounding box center is fine, and then switch to normal, then scale, and scale on the axis that is pointing to the side of the finger. So that way the finger will be completely straight on this axis. And from the side view, it has a nice curvature. So Rigify will definitely generate a correct finger from this. I'm going to quickly fix the pinky in the same way. Now things are looking good. I'm going to go to object mode, generate the rig, parent with automatic weights. And now all of the fingers will be bending correctly. I can switch to individual origins, select all of these widgets, and scale at the same time. And you'll see that all fingers bend correctly. If you are enjoying this tutorial, you may also like my advanced Rigify course and the manual module in particular. There, I go over all features and settings in Rigify one by one. Here's another quick example.
Here is how you can get perfect bone positioning and orientation in Blender. When you add bones or objects, they will respawn at the 3D cursor. Rely on the geometry to
Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to fix
Okay. Let's start doing this.
Professor Terence Tao is the equivalent of a rock star in mathematics.
Regarded
bone roll, orientation, and position my cursor. This way your bones. When you are rigging organic character, you can rely on the topology too. Most of the time you will find accurate landmarks, but you're free to tweak the positioning of the bones after the skinning. So basically your workflow should be to position the bones, then weight paint your character, and
Let me see. Delete these, don't need them. And now let's start positioning these ones. Let me see. The bone axis. Where is that? Yeah, that's it. Okay. And this one. Got the exact right one. Cursor. Valeu, meu mano. Beleza, véi? Como é que você tá? Valeu demais. Hum, to position. Hum. Tenho vontade de fazer um traje e colocar no jogo. Sou designer, já trabalhei com 3D, mas só que voltado para arquivis. Tem uns cursos de ZBrush comprado, mas não meti a cara nos estudos. Boa, mano. Mete as caras então, velho. Bora lá. Por que você não meteu ainda? Por falta de tempo eu até entendo, mano, mas tem que fazer, pô. Vai ficar show. Quando você colocar no jogo, você vai ver. É, então, eu entendo, pô. É foda, e pior que essa merda demora um tempo pra porra pra fazer, velho. Essas coisas assim. Caraca, que da hora, mano. Parabéns, velho. Bom demais. Aí sim, cara. Não, aí eu entendo total, velho. Tem que focar no filho mesmo. Se tiver tempo sobrando, você vai e faz, velho. Ficou da hora, velho. Parabéns. We'll make an English version for us non-Spanish speaking people. Yeah, I'll be making a tutorial on the channel soon. Real soon, actually. I'm gonna be posting it. And we're not speaking Spanish though. We're actually speaking Portuguese. It's a common, what's it called? Misunderstanding. When people hear Portuguese, they usually think that it is Spanish, but it's not. They're similar though. Kinda. I just saw your live stream. You're doing a great lesson. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for checking it out. Really, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys can find some useful information on the videos that I'm doing. And I'm always gonna leave the full streams on the channel so that you guys can go back to them, and I can go back to them actually when I forget how to do something. So that we can have reference for how to do certain things. And I'm also gonna do like a full explanation video as well. Explaining everything meticulously. Is it possible to scale down the bone size? I'm trying to learn Blender myself. Yeah, you can, for example, let's select the thigh bone. If you want to scale the bone down, you just press the S and then drag the mouse so that it scales on the axis that you're telling it to scale down, the pivot point actually. I'm using median, so it's going to calculate the median point of the bone, and then it's going to scale it down. If I put it in the active element, it's going to scale it down from the root of the bone. So it scales down like this. And you can also move the points. Like if you have a chain of bones, you can select a point in the chain and then move it to scale as well. And that will move the bones. And when a bone is separated, you can also do that, but it doesn't influence any of the other bones. And that's pretty much it. Have I done a lot of sculpting? Yeah, I have. I haven't really posted it a lot on the channel. I'm starting posting it now, like been posting it for like a few months. A lot of the things that I did previously, prior to that, I haven't posted, but I'm probably gonna post everything that I do in Blender from now on. I'm gonna be live streaming and doing video tutorials after I've completed them. After I completed each project. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Probably you guys will notice that Spider-Man is my favorite character from all time. So it's like every chance I get to do a Spider-Man, I just grab it, man. Okay, I think this one is a bit too high. I need to make it a little bit lower. Zero 36, 034, 023, 028, 36, 28, 26. And this is 34, 23, 24. This is wrong then. Okay. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna scale it. Just as I showed you guys. This one is at 23. Let me make it 25. This is at 23. This is 25. It's 34. 36. 28. 26. 23. 25. Yeah, that's right. Have you explored the grease pencil part? A little bit. Bro, vou ir nessa. Sucesso aí no canal e depois vou estudar mais sobre modelagem de personagem. Boa, mano. Tamo junto demais, velho. Qualquer coisa, tamo aí. Precisar também chamar no Instagram, no Twitter, sei lá. Fica à vontade. Tamo junto. Have you explored the grease pencil part? A little bit. I have done some... There's a video on my channel, the last video that I posted, in which I did Rogue from X-Men. In that project I used the grease pencil to create line art on the 3D model. Check it out. It's really cool, man. But in terms of like doing actual 2D animation with grease pencil, I have tested it, but I didn't really like it that much, so I didn't really do much of it, being quite honest. But it's a matter of picking it up and learning, man. It's a great tool, nonetheless. Probably just didn't dedicate to enough time to learn it. So that's why I didn't like it. But if I did dedicate time to it, I'd probably love it. A lot of people love it because it's a great tool, actually. This is the cut. Let me calculate how many there are here. Let me turn on the statistics. From here to here, we have 10 faces. So I need 10 faces from here to here. Right on this one. First it's selected. Selection to cursor. And then on this one. We have from here to here 7 faces. So I need from here to here 7. I hit the bullseye. Selection to cursor. It's done. 33, 25, 24. 36, 36, 30, 28, 26, 33, 25, 24. That's right. Let me calculate this exactly as I did with the other ones. Okay, this one is a bit wrong. Cursor to selected. Selection to cursor. And then from this one to here, it's 10. So let's grab this one, cursor to selected, select the bone, selection to cursor. That's it. Okay, now it's kind of perfect. I just have to redo this one because it's not so right. Oops. Drag both of them. Set. Now let's grab these 2 edges and these 2 with these 2. I think that it is. And then grab these 2 points, selection to cursor, and it's there. Let's calculate 7 coming down. Shit, I forgot which one it was. Okay, now I know which one it is. 7, that's it. Cursor to selected. Selection to cursor. Calculate 10 coming from here to here. My mathematician skills are very sharp today, man. Damn. And then this from here to here. cursor to select it. I think this one isn't going to work right. I'm gonna have to calculate it kind of manually. Exactly what I thought. 22, 18, 25. This one needs to be bigger. Slightly bigger. Okay. That's it. That's perfect. Now I need to adjust these to be inside of the volume of the model. This one. I'm not sure where to position it. Let me see in the last model I did. How I did it. Open up the rig again. Okay. Let me see something. I'll be right back. Just watched your Rogue video. Awesome job, great work. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Did you see how I use the grease pencil there? To add the, what's it called? Line art. To add the line art to the model. Okay. Now I know what to do. Don't save. I'm really glad you liked it, by the way. 37, 37, that's right. Okay. Pretty much done. Just need to put this in the middle of the hand and we're good. Oh crap. All right. This is it. Now let's fix the row of these. Now I don't remember. Let me open up the other one again. I forgot to look at this. At this models. Ah, sorry. I forgot to look at this one's axis. Okay, the Z is at the front. The Z should be at the front. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like I can just add another one over here. Add an armature human. That's it. Let me zero out this. And put it to the side. Five. The X is down. The X-axis is down. I just discovered the video editor. Blender is really growing. Yeah, it actually exists for some time now. I remember a few years ago I tried to use it on my Spider-Man animation, an old Spider-Man animation that I did. I used it, but I didn't know how to edit back then. So I found it really complicated. I don't edit in Blender. No, the video editing I do it in Premiere Pro. I find it easier to do it over there. Okay, I think I'm gonna change the roll of these bones. So that they're facing the front. A little bit more. Yeah, I like it. Now the X here should be exactly kind of where it is already. 120. And then on this one, where is it correct? 130, 127, 128, I think it's right. And then this one, all of these Z's should be pointing down. Unless the only one which is not Z is the hand one. Alright. On the hand one is the x-axis. It's pretty much correct. There's a chopper passing by real close to here. Okay, 155. Let me isolate this so that I can see it better. Why is this over here, man? That doesn't make any sense. What the hell happened here? How did I not see this? Cursor to selected. And this selection to cursor. Cursor selected. Selection to cursor. Alright, this is right now. Let's see this again. This one. Oops. Handle. 146. And over here. 50. Line. Pretty much aligned. These though aren't. gonna do this differently. Let's try to grab these two. Cursor to selected. And how did I? How did I? How did he? That's it. That is exactly what I wanted. Shift N to the cursor, and then let me try to do it with all of the this is right. Okay, perfect. Now select here, here, and here. Cursor to selected. Shift M to the cursor. Perfect. And recalculate the normals. The row, actually. Okay, I think this is done. Seems good enough. We select the center of this hand, cursor, and then this. Let me fix the row over here. Yeah, that's it. Cursor to selected. Okay. Alô? Alô? Boa tarde. Sim, quem gostaria? It's got a call from internet services. I'm not interested in internet services right now, so. Okay. I need to invert this. I don't have any clue how to fucking do this. How long does your rig process normally take? Depends on how fresh the knowledge is in my mind, man. But probably like a couple hours. From a couple hours to a whole day, usually. Because then after this I do weight painting and stuff like that. So usually take around from 2 hours to a whole day. Hopefully I can finish this really soon. I'm probably gonna finish it like in a few minutes probably. Yeah, I like this. 136. That's perfect. Not perfect, but good enough. And to the cursor. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I think we're pretty much done positioning the meta rig. think we can generate it now. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, now I can delete this one. Let me delete it from the file as well, so that we don't have anything duplicated. View layer, back. Now let me send the cursor to the world origin. Sorry about that. Cursor to world origin. How long have we been in this rigging process? 1.5 hours. Pretty much. That's good. It's a good amount of time. It's relatively quick. I've taken far longer than this. Rigify, generate. Wait, what the fuck happened? This isn't right. Oh, I forgot to apply the scale transformation. Yeah, now it's gonna work properly. Go into generate. Yeah, that's it. That's more like it. Now we can hide the meta rig and just deal with the rig itself. Let's see. Let me just get rid of some of the things over here. Hide this, hide this. No, not yet. I need to change it to pole. Pull on. Now hide, hide, hide you, hide you. Now let's toggle pole, toggle pole. Away with you too, and away with you, and you. You guys are useless to me. I think this is. I think that's it. We're good to go. Okay, I think I forgot the thumb. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. Did it generate? Render file, armatures, mattering. I think it didn't. Yeah, okay. I forgot to mess with the row of this. Let's add another object. Apply, scale. Okay, this one is also wrong. This isn't supposed to be the Z. It's supposed to be the X. That's it. Now it's correct. Object, add a armature human. Drag it to the side. Save, and let's see how the viewport display in front. The Z is where it's going to bend. Okay. Okay, I can delete this now. Go back. I don't need it anymore. Let's open up this rig. Okay. Now this is going to bend around here, right? 3 to the side, 3 to the side. Okay. Cursor to selected. Select all these bones and Shift N to the cursor. Now it's going to bend correctly over here. And I think that's good. Now, cursor to world origin. The transforms are all applied. I can generate the rig again. Generate. Okay. Let's see. Go into pose mode. Scale. I think this is not so right. I need it to be a little less. Just a tiny bit less. Generate again. Go to pose. Isolate it. Scale it. What the fuck is it still filming there? That's not how the finger bends. Why the fuck is it still doing this? The hell, dude? This is not the problem, bro. What is the problem then? Okay. Let me close this and open it up again. Let me close Blender and open it up again. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Okay, let me understand what is happening here. What if I rotate it completely like this? Generate it. It's still going there, so it's not this one. It's not this chain over here. What is influencing this? Let's see. Doing all right. What if I change this? Still no rights. What the fuck, Blender? Are you going insane or something? The fuck? Let me select this chain. Control R. Let's see if it changes anything. Still hasn't changed anything. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Oh, Blender, come on. Oh, now we're starting to see something change here. Okay. This I comprehended. Okay, now we're talking. This is exactly what I wanted. Let me go back, change the roll of this one, be more uniform. exactly it under. Not exactly, but that's my fault, not Blender's fault. Okay, that's too much. I think this is it. Hide this. Go into pose mode. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's how a finger bends. Actually, I'm gonna increase it just a little bit. That's enough, I guess. How long does your rig process normally take? Okay, I've already talked to you about that. I think this is it. I think this is exactly how finger bends. Actually, I shouldn't do this because in the modeling my finger isn't aligned correctly with the axis that I want. This is gonna do fine, dude. This is just go on with your process. Okay, hide this. This one I'm going to okay, let me change something here. Okay, these bones. Okay, let me hide. This one I'm gonna push it out to the side. You know what? Don't even mess with this. You're gonna regret it, probably. Okay, let me hide these. Let me undo everything. To see root. Not added. Pose. This one. Going to the double pose. Pull. This is still not right. Let me get rid of this rig. Let's see what happens. Stay the same. I need to change the position of this. Pretty roll to change, yeah. Didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to change the geometry of this. instead of messing with the maybe we're gonna change the position of the feet. Yeah, I think that'll be better. And add a scene over here. Like scene. Select this. And then let's move it. What happened here, Blender? Jesus Christ. Can't believe I'm gonna have to. What will happen here, man? Seriously. Okay, let's do this. Maxine. Okay. Toggle pole, and if gonna be ones are actually useful. have to mess with these, man. Thinking, seriously. By the meta rig. These ones. And subject mode. And let's go and grab the body, the rig, and then rig it. Bind it with automatic weights. Pretty good. Working good, man. Okay, let me just change some small thing. again. Okay, I think this is good enough. I have to go. Can't stay doing this. All right, we're almost done. Let me just transfer the weights. Nearest face interpolated. The radius 0.3. By name, all layers. Okay, let's see. Oops, forgot to bind it. Okay. Weights, transfer. So good. Okay, go into object mode. Bind it with empty groups. Let's go into pose, check if it's working. Perfect. Yeah, that's it. It's perfect. Okay. Now, the web shooters. Select the original mesh. Select the one we want to transfer to. Hit weights, transfer weight. All set. Object mode. Now select it again. Select the rig and click Control P into empty groups. And it's perfect. It's working perfectly. Right. This is it. It's done. Now I just need to go to pose mode and hide these. Let's see if the fingers are working properly. Yeah, it's working perfectly. Fuck is this finger not working properly? Let me transform all, go into object mode, grab the meta rig, and I think it's too close. Let's move x-axis a little bit. Hit the regenerate button. Then let's check the rig if it's working. Good. Still not working properly. I don't even know if it's better. Generate it. Suppose. I think now it's working properly. That's good. The middle finger though, it could be tiny bit straighter. Thinking. These. Too much. Let's leave it at 0.5. It's 0.7. I think it's okay. 7. The feet. IK is the root. The hands IK is the shoulder. Good. Estuga por acaso. What is that? I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish very well. Sorry. I was asking if you were Portuguese. I'm Brazilian, actually. I speak Portuguese, though. Where are you from? You should have understood that then. Not really. We don't have that expression over here. Tuga. I don't know what that is. Unfortunately. Tuga is Portuguese, Portuguesa. I didn't know that. That's cool. Oh, from Portuga, right? Yeah, not really. Brazilian. I love Portuguese people though. Are you Portuguese? Você é portuguesa? Português? Não sei. Eu tava falando inglês ainda, velho. Eu, hein? Doido das ideias. Okay, I think this is good enough. Let me go to another part. Assim, já agora esse modelo tem quantos polys? Deixa eu ver aqui. Object mode. Quantas faces? Tem 45.432 no total. E de triângulos tem... De quads, né? Tem 45.000. De triângulos tem 90.000. Quase 91.000. Parece estar muito bem detalhado. Obrigado. Valeu. Eu fiz um... Como chama? Normal map. É que ele tá texturizado, né? Mas no... No coisa ele tá assim. No... Match cap. Aí o normal map ele dá uma ajudada. Parecer que tá bem complicadinho. Bump map tem o normal. Não tô usando displacement, tô usando o normal mesmo. Mas já tem sim. Já tá bom. Vou ficar detalhando isso daqui. Bom o suficiente. Para salvar. E partir. Você entrou bem no finalzinho da live, Monique. Monchique. Monique. Desculpa. Monchique. Entrou bem no finalzinho. Tava bem acabando. E agora eu escondo o deform. Clear all transforms. É isso. E aí... Ótimo. E aí, bora exportar. Vou salvar esse aqui. Vamos limpar o arquivo do que a gente não precisa. Esses meta rigs. Deixa eu ver. Esses aqui eu posso deletar. Rig deixa aí, o meta rig também. Widgets. Tá. Images tem 20, acho que é imagens do coisa mesmo. Lights we have 3. Line styles, materials. What material is this? I don't think I need it. Ah, sorry. I actually needed it. Spider. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Meshes. Aqui é do rig. Aí eu tenho web shooter, aranha, dente e o corpo. Beleza. E eu acho que é isso. Vamos ver aqui. Como que tá? Já adicionar uma câmera. E aí? Câmera. Line camera to view. Assim. E depois vai utilizá-lo em que jogo? Eu já coloquei já, na verdade. Eu fiz pra colocar no jogo do Homem-Aranha Remastered, o da Insomniac. Sabe aquele de PC? Aí eu coloquei já no jogo. Tem vídeo aí de eu colocando, aliás, no canal. Acho que foi a última live. E aí eu coloquei esses dias atrás. Acho que ontem. Anteontem, sei lá. Aí tá no jogo já. Tá disponível pra baixar no site Nexus Mod também. Se quiser dar uma olhada. Beleza, tá pronto. Tá o renderizador aqui, rapidão. Cycles, GPU. Muita noise. Optics. Embed normal. Ver como que tá. Show. Gostei. Beleza. Essa câmera vai para assim, objects. Agora vamos salvar lá na outra pasta. Character, não. 3D, rigs from Gumroad. Ultimate Spider-Man. Vinte e quatro. Opa. É isso então. Se tiver alguém ainda assistindo, valeu por colar aí na live hoje. Eu vou nessa. E eu vejo vocês na semana que vem, se Deus quiser. Fiquem com Deus. E é isso, tamo junto. Falou. Deus abençoe vocês.